So I just been overthinking a lot. Like I just been in my head. There have been thoughts and just putting content out there is really hard. If I feel like there's this maybe glamorous side of content creation that people make it seem like it's easy or it's simple, which yes, at the core of it, it is simple, but to implement certain things, it's hard, and staying consistent is really hard. And I don't know. I've been worried about the numbers way too much. I've been looking at analytics more than I should. I've been comparing myself. That's been a big thing. I feel like I've been comparing myself way too much. And it's gotten me to a place that I really don't like. And I think that's partly why I started wanting to do videos like this, where I just don't hide behind the editing. I'm not hiding behind any fancy stuff. I just want to be real and raw and share how I'm feeling. And if this encourages you, awesome, because I pride myself in what I get to create. But a lot of times, I think as creators, we know the right things to say, or we know what's going to do well. And yeah, I just overthinking has been a big part of my journey as of lately. But one thing that has helped me, which is the topic of today's video, is a phrase that has been in my head nonstop on repeat. And this phrase for me is what allows me to keep going, because I want to quit almost every day, to be honest. It's really hard, like really hard. But I think the difference between the people that are in the positions you want to be in is they just didn't quit. There's a saying that says, if you don't quit, you win. And I think that's so true, because even though you experience losses, that doesn't mean you still can't win. Your losses will equate to lessons, and those lessons can get you to a place where you want to see success. But oftentimes, I think as creatives, as creators, we're not playing the long game. We're worried about the short moments, the reel, the carousel. But what about if we put out 100 reels or 100 carousels or 100 videos? Now let's start to judge analytics and data on that, right? But I think a lot of times we overestimate the power of one reel and underestimate the power of 100. We start to doubt ourselves because this video that we took X amount of time to create isn't doing well. That's okay. Just analyze why that video didn't do well and don't do it the next time. But the thing that has kept me going, that keeps me going till this day, and has been a daily reminder for me, and it may sound morbid, but it's the phrase, you're gonna die. That's the phrase, you're gonna die. Or if you want to go biblical with it, the Bible says that tomorrow is not promised. Sorry, there's a fly. Tomorrow is not promised. And I think that's so true. Tomorrow isn't promised. We think it is, but you never know what could happen overnight. You don't know. And again, that may sound morbid, but that's the kind of perspective you have to have in order to take advantage of today. Imagine if someone gave you $100 and they said, this is the last $100 you will ever have. You're not just going to spend that on anything. You're not just going to go and buy an energy drink or go and spend it on whatever fast food. You're going to be really mindful of how you would spend that money. And the same is true with us and our time. We think we have X amount of days, X amount of years left, but the reality is we don't. We don't know when our time is up. And that fact alone should be the reason why we keep on pushing forward. Even when things seem hard, even when things feel like they're not going to go the way you thought they were, even when things feel like it's just at its end, that phrase alone, for me at least, is what helps me to say, you know what? I'm not promised tomorrow. I'm going to die. And this life that we have here on earth, we won't get a second one. So why not take advantage of today? What that allows me to do is stop thinking about what people think about me, stop thinking about comparing myself to other people. That allows me just to say, you know what? Today is a new day. Instead of thinking about years, I'm just going to think about days and worry about today. How can I make today great? One phrase that my wife and I, we like to live by, that we've heard and it's stuck to us, is we don't have great days, we make great days. We oftentimes want to wait for things to happen to us, but why don't we just go out there and make things happen? Why don't we just say, you know what, this is the chips that we've been dealt today. Let's make the most of it. And I feel like if you're able to switch your perspective in that way, then it's no longer not in your court. You have more control over things, and you can worry about the things you actually have control over, because the outcomes are the outcomes. All you can worry about is what's in your hands today, and let the chips fall where they may. But as long as I'm tackling today the best that I can, I know what's in my control. I know that I can edit videos. I know that I can make designs. I can do all those things. I can learn. I can get better. But the analytics, the way people respond to things, that's not up to me. And I can't get caught up in that. I can't get caught up in people's response to what I create. All I can do is just take what I'm given and do the best that I can. It's all about stewarding well this life that we've been given. So I don't know about for you. I don't know if you overthink a lot like me, but every single moment we are bombarded with thoughts, sometimes positive, mostly negative. And it's up to us to take those thoughts that are in our mind and say, you know what, instead of allowing those thoughts to dwell in me, to manifest in me, to evolve, I think I'm going to take those thoughts captive, and I'm going to allow those thoughts to just go right through me, because the reality is I'm going to die. Tomorrow is not promised. And I'm going to take advantage every moment that I can of this day, because if not, then what is life about? Like, why are we here on this earth? We all have a purpose. And it's up to us to really discover that purpose and live that out. So I just want to hop on here and share that, because that's something that for me, when I really put it in perspective, it sort of realigns me to say, you know what, Derek, the things that you're worrying about really aren't that big. They may seem big at the moment, but if you really kind of pull back, it's not really that big of a deal. So just keep pushing, keep creating, and I promise you, you're going to get to the place where you feel like, you know what, this is where I've always been meant to be.